pasuk says, Parshas Va'era. V'yidab Hashem Moshe le'Yibui da'ab Apelbaum v'tzvah v'shalach b'nei Yisroel mi'artzo. Speak to Pharaoh. Speak to Pharaoh, v'shalach b'nei Yisroel mi'artzo. V'yidab Moshe b'nei Hashem le'Yibui. Hein b'nei Yisroel lo shomu elai. Ve'eich yishma'eni Pharaoh v'ani aras v'sayim. Moshe Rabbeinu said, listen, I had a difficult time. It was hard enough the first time I spoke to Klal Yisrael. Ve'eich yishma'eni Pharaoh. How's Pharaoh going to listen to me also? You told me to go to Pharaoh now. You went to Klal Yisrael. They gave me a hard time. They didn't want ready to listen. Moshe Rabbeinu thought it was because his koyach of dibur wasn't so stark. He was a ras v'sayim. I wasn't able to affect. So how am I going to affect Pharaoh? So the pasuk says right after Vayidab Hashem Moshe v'Aaron v'yitzavim b'bnei Yisrael. He commanded them. To take them out of Mitzrayim. So Rashi says over here, "Vayitzavim el bnei Yisrael." So Rashi says, "The el paramel to Mitzrayim." He was mitzavim el Klal and the paramel Mitzrayim. So what are these two tzivuyim? So Rashi says it wasn't to them; it was about them. Hashem was mitzvah about Klal Yisrael, and it was mitzvah about Pharaoh. What were the two things? So mitzvah b'nei Yisrael tziva lehem lanhiga b'nachas v'sbolo Yisrael. Now by Klal Yisrael he said, lead them very b'nachas, easily, v'lisbolo Yisrael, and to have patience with them. The Pharaoh mitzvah tziva lehem lachlo kavod b'divrei. That was the midrasha. Rashi said. Shlita, he says it's evil. That's the medrash. The medrash was even saved two different things. So the choir, it looks like the two separate things have no connection. He commanded Klal Yisrael Gabi to handle them gently, handle them with patience, handle them lovingly, and lead them lovingly. And the power to mechalak l'kavod. What are the two things over here? What's up? They coming to the pundegaga to one end. What's the pshat over here? So I was thinking maybe mahalach. Rabbi said over here a new mahalach. Oh, that Moshe Rabbeinu just got through saying to Hakadosh Baruch Hu that Lamaisa, you want me to speak to Pharaoh and influence him? It's not going to work. I couldn't even have felt Klal Yisrael. So at this stage, you have to realize that this was a very, very, very. The Kodesh Baruch Hu was giving over to Moshe the Yisroel to be the manik over here. This whole sugya now was when he was appointing him or giving over the reins to be the manik of Klal Yisrael. And the manik of Klal Yisrael, he had two jobs. He had multitask. He had to be involved with Klal Yisrael and also with Pharaoh. Now, he had just finished saying that Lamaisa Pharaoh is not going to listen to me if they don't listen to me. So Pharaoh be'etzim in his taina were two separate tainas. One, first of all, Klal Yisrael doesn't listen to me, and Pharaoh is not listening to me either. So I think that what the Kodesh Baruch Hu was telling him here now was a tshuva. It wasn't stam a separate inyan now. The Moshe Rabbeinu, you're the manik, and you have to know Klal Yisrael. You have to lead Klal Yisrael. Klal Yisrael will listen to you. This that you have a taina, that's a lack of patience. And a lack of patience has no mokoim as a leader. As a leader of Klal Yisrael, as somebody who's a manik, as someone who has to take care of the Klal Yisrael throughout to the next this whole generation, you have to realize you have to have patience. The fact they didn't listen to you all the first time, it could be you're right, you try to talk to them. But it has nothing to do with Aral Svasai again. It's the fact that Klal Yisrael is going through a difficult time. You have to have more patience. The Gabi Paro, it could be he also won't listen to him. But him you have a different din. On him you have to also go. Be'etzem here, HaKadosh Baruch Hu mitzavim, mitzad, his din manhig, in two different distinct shlichus. That you're in a time that Klal Yisrael didn't listen to you, they will listen to you eventually. Just have patience with them. Paro's not going to listen to you also? It could be, but you have a different din why you have to go to Paro. I was covered Malchus. You have to go to Paro. And you have to speak to Paro and tell him what you're doing. Because at the end of the day, he could come to you. No, there's a din of covered Malchus. And it could be that also was a chaylik, it wasn't stam a study. It was a chaylik of being melamed to Moshe Rabbeinu. That if you're a manik, you have to know on both spectrums. There's two dinim. You have to be noeg Malchus, and Malchus demands covered Malchus. And therefore, I want you to go to Paroi, even though he won't listen to you. You still have a din to go to him because the din of covered Malchus, and you have to learn covered Malchus, Moshe Rabbeinu, because you're right now a melech. You're the melech of Klal Yisrael. But at the same time, if this Indian of limit of covered Malchus, you have to go to someone who's not going to listen, you have to show respect, the power of the Rosh or Marusha. You still have to respect because the din of a melech. I don't want you to miss out on the lesson of covered Malchus. You also have to know that Klal Yisrael didn't listen to you. You have to be noeg and be married and benachas. That's also a chelik of Malchus. Because a melech of Klal Yisrael, a melech who's a true melech, the goddess of the Malchus is that he's also a sovereign. And that's not only a dover that's despite there's a melech, in spite. Meaning to say that's what makes a melech Yisrael to a melech Yisrael, that he's a sovereign. A leader of Klal Yisrael is somebody who knows how to be a sovereign, who knows how to be somebody who has patience with us. A person has to know that if he wants to reach any madreg in life, one of the most important leaders that a person has to work on is Middos Hasavlon as a person. The Saba Miskelm said, "Mi teim v'nisrago Middos Hasavlon, ki ze shoyresh kol hamidos v'hamenucha v'shoresh kol hamaylos. Ze hasher latz Hashem tzadikim yevoy ma'ashar oitcha ki anisoni atilu l'shua. Ich Yisroel lahag atim v'savlon as a person." This is how a person is zoicha to become somebody greater, but it's a Middos Hasavlon to learn how to be soivel other people. The Meister of Chaim Berlin, the Rabbi of Yisroel, he said like this: "B'yoyim chasudasi nichnatzi el Sabi hagodol hagoyin Rabbi Yitzchak Mivolozhin, the son of Chaim Mivolozhin, Rabbi Yitzchak Mivolozhin, Rabbi Yitzchak. Amanash Yatzel Alay B'chosa. He went to Rabbi Yitzchak. He went to his grandfather to get a bracha and hadracha on how to live. He's going to get married now. So he said, Sabi Omar Li V'Lozer Aloshin, Boy B'ni V'Alamedcha Dov Shem Tasek Ket Hatzliach Da'alecha Ki Middos Hasavlonis Klapi Kol Yitzuri Enesh Kurishoina L'Chol HaMiddos. That's the Rishoinish. Reb Chaim Berlin is Hoysef Omar Ki Yamtiv Ki Ba'atel HaMiddos Zois V'Chem Middos Zois Yitzila Oisi Miharim Mechsholis V'Avdei Negem V'Der Chayei Mayim Ram Oval HaRosh Ach Middos Hasavlon Yitzila Oisi. The Middos Hasavlon is the yisoid of all the Middos. Bishop Chaim Brisker also, that Moshe Rabbeinu that's how it became the great Moshe Rabbeinu, because the Middos Hasavlon has come upon through the middle. We see that was Moshe Rabbeinu's Gaza. The Middos Hasavlon is to be able to soivel somebody else, to soivel all his mishugasim, all his shtusim, all his craziness, to soivel. That's what we hear about. The Middos Hasavlon is be'etzem associated with the need of another Bayis. To be able to soivel somebody else that comes from Middos, I know why we can't soivel other people is because it comes from our gaivu. We think we're greater, we're better, we're more important, and when a person does something that's beneath the dignity, his dignity, be my dignity, so man, we can't be soivel him. We can't be soivel other person's shtuyas because we feel we're so much greater. But a true a person about anova, he can be soivel everywhere. We've made many stories where Moshe Feinstein how he was soivel all meaning mishugoyim Rabbi. That we used to call him up and ask him to do things with Rabbi. You remember the famous story we said with the one time there was a knock at the door, someone came to answer, and there was a lady at the door, and she had a letter. She said it was a letter in Russian. And she said, "Can I speak to Rabbi?" She said, "What do you need?" He's resting. He's not feeling so good. I need him to read the letter. The guy, the door says, the girl at the door is a little busy to read your letter. Says, I don't understand Russian so well. It's from my mother or whatever. My grandmother writes me a letter in Russian, and I know that Rabbi Feinstein knows Russian. He could translate the letter for me, for my Baba. So she said, very nice, but the man here is called Rabbi Moshe Feinstein. He's not just Moses Feinstein. He's Rabbi Moses Feinstein, Moshe Feinstein. He happens to be the greatest rabbi. So please, so she says, I don't understand. For the last 20 years, he's been translating the letter for me. Every few weeks when I get a letter from my grandma, he sits down and he spends time. And if I don't understand something, he repeats it to me a few times to make sure I understand Chazaras in the Shia, to make sure I get it clear what the letter's about. This what the Megillah was sitting with a lady to read over the letter from my grandmother. Like he didn't have time. With savlonis and patience, Rabbi said. Patience. Because that's the sign of a great person, Rabbi said. A great person understands that every person is different, there's different strokes, different folds, people are different, Rabbi said. People have idiosyncrasies, people have things, Meshugasim, and if you want to deal with other people, Rabbi said, if you want to deal with other people, you have to have Midah, Kol Yitzuri Anosh, you have to deal with people, you have to have patience. You're not always going to be like what that person's doing, what that person's up to, what the person's saying. But respect for the other person demands that we have to have patience for them, Rabbi said. And therefore, Rabbi said, it's not just the miler, Rabbi said. Kol miler shaborim the Sam Mikel. Shoyrish kol hamayel, Rabbi said. To learn to be a savlon. To learn to be a savlon, Rabbi said. It's the shoyrish for kol hamayel, Rabbi said. To learn how to deal with other people and not getting agitated, not get affected, and to learn to have patience, real patience, Rabbi said. Problem is we don't have patience for anybody. We don't have patience for ourselves. That's why we go crazy either. We can't deal with our own issue. That's why we're going crazy. But to learn to have patience, Rabbi said, to learn to be calm and have patience for everybody around us. That's a midah of a manig, Rabbi said, of a great person, Rabbi said. And that's how you become a man. That's what's the vitzaveh. Vitzaveh, the same word, just like you have to learn kavod malchus. At the same time, do you want to learn midas ha-malchus? That's midas ha-savlonis. So it was one and the same that he was telling Moshe Rabbeinu. I'm the Yitzaveh. He was Mitzaveh Moshe Rabbeinu. You're now giving you in this whole sugya. You're becoming a melech. You're becoming the manik. This is where you become. This is the sugya where you're becoming the manik of Klal Yisrael. If you want to be a manik, you have to learn two things. You have to know what Kavod HaMalchus is, and you have to go to power, even though he's not going to listen to you. But at the same time, if you want to be a manik of Klal Yisrael, if you want to be a true manik, you want to be an emes manik, you have to learn to be soivel. That the fact that Klal Yisrael is not going to listen to you, and it might take time, be soivel them. Eventually, it'll get in. Eventually, it'll hit a makorah. And this is the sort of godless order, Rabbi said. Godless order to learn to be soivel other people, Rabbi said. Our blood is always boiling when somebody's doing something that we're getting angry, we're frustrated. This. To be soivel other people, Rabbi said. This is the makorah of all godless, Rabbi said, because it teaches the person to be an honor, and an honor is the midah, as the Ramban says, the Geras HaMusar is the midah, the makor of all midas. To be a savlon is someone to be what's the lashon? Anvesanusa shall because of his anvesanusa shall Chaim ben Atilas Chorabes Amidas Rashi and Gittin anvesanusa savlanusa. And Nova and Savlonis, they go together, Rabbi said. The midah, Yikris of Savlonis is midas and Nova, Rabbi said. To understand, you could be the God, have the greatest person, but if you have midas Savlonis, it's because you're able to be an honor and understand. And Moshe Rabbeinu, that was the Yisroel, we're teaching you that to be that great leader, you have to have the midah of Savlonis, ad ha-soif, Rabbi said. And this goes with especially relationships, Rabbi said. In relationships, this is one of the most important midas that they can learn, Rabbi said. If anybody wants to tell you what's the most important, I'm going to get married, but I'm giving you the most important hadracha for marriage, Rabbi said. This thing and that thing, make sure you buy this type of wine for the wedding night, and that, and buy this and buy that, and get this for the Sheva brachas and that, and where you should live, all beautiful. But you want to have a successful marriage, Rabbi said. You want to have a good relationship with somebody, anybody, it starts with this have some ones, because Kishem Shepatu, if it says, hey man, who's doing this, just like our faces are different, our minds, the way we think, the way we act are different. And but when you see somebody act different from you, you look at it very strange looking, and you can't put up with it. You can't stand it. I just want to turn your face and go away from it. How do you be able to develop a relationship? You have to have patience to try to understand the person, try to know where he's coming from, and to realize that he is with his mishugas. He has a mahal. There's a mahal from a sheikh also. There's a certain mahal he has. It could be tishtus, but it's coming from somebody. To learn to have patience with that person, that's how you're going to start a relationship and keep a relationship. But once the Middos HaSavlonos goes, then the relationship is over. And especially, in Shalom Bayis, if this is the most important, if anybody wants to tell you, to give you come over, young boy, you're getting married, they get out in the shul, the 65-year-old guy, he's the verge of divorce for his fourth time. Let me give you a little bit of advice for marriage. Come, young man, flips his mustache up a little bit. I want to give you some advice. The best way to commit marriages, always have some liquor in the closet. In case your wife says something, just take another shot, everything will be okay. Make sure you always have a Jack Daniels around, under the cupboard. This is my advice to you, young man. Take it or leave it. Anyway, the vodka's a close second, though. Anyway, but the Ma'aseh social Dorah say you want to know what is the number one thing and have a successful marriage, a successful relationship. Savlonis, Savlonis. Women, says the Gemara in Brachos Nun Hey, Noshim Am B'fnei Atzma. They're like different nation. The Mamish a different nation. They're so different from men, so different, and the Kodesh made it that way. How is it possible for a person to get it out of you? Okay, you can live for a few hours and years. It's the 25th wedding anniversary. How'd you make it, George? A lot of Jack Daniel. Anyway, but how'd you make it? The only way Rabbi say Middos HaSavlon is to learn to be soil somebody else, to learn to put up with them, to learn to stand them. Rabbi say to be calm and to be on, not to be crazy, and not to be get so agitated. To learn to understand that they're different, and therefore I have to put up with the things they're going to come home and again and they tell you about for the third time that story that you heard already 3 times, and you're tired of the story, but she wants to tell you again because it really gave her chizik, that story. She listened to it again. I heard it already. I can tell you. In my sleep, I can tell you the story. But she wants to say it again because it gives you physical. To have savlonis, for her it's important. That's savlonis, because for the person who's like they once asked for Moshe, what do you do? Somebody asks what do you do when a guy asks a foolish question? What do you do? He asks the Moshe, Shayla, what do you do? A guy asks a foolish question. So Moshe says no such thing as a foolish question because the guy who's asking doesn't think it's foolish. That's savlonis. You understand that the guy's coming from somewhere. You have to correct him, but he's really asking because he thinks it's right. So you have to show him whatever, but it's not a foolish question to him. So you have to be miming him on a thing, but to him he thinks it's really emes. Where he's coming from. That's savlonis to be able to go connect, have the relationship, understand they're different. They're coming from a different whole mindset and a different thing. What's important to them is not important to you. What's important to you is not important to them. For the Ma'aseh to be able to put up with it, you have to work on this as savlonis for a person. So this is the Yisroel. This is the Yisroel by Yitzaveh. The Yitzaveh wasn't 2 separate things. It was to give Moshe the Yisroel of being a manik, because this was the pasha of his Hanhaga, how to be a manik. And you just came to say that what if Klai is not going to listen to me, so Moshe Rabbeinu Be'emes was tiny. How am I going to be a manik? I can't handle the Am, I can't handle the Parah. Because Bro gave him one answer, Vayitzaveh. You want to be a manik? Klapi Klal Yisroel. Sabidus HaSavlonis. Parah's not going to listen to you anyway. It's covered on Malchus. Those 2 things you have to learn, Moshe Rabbeinu. To be a manik, you have to learn what covered on Malchus is, and you have to learn Middos HaSavlonis. Be'ez Hashem, Rabbi side will be zoicha to work on this midah. It's the shorish kol hamas is halbim mitzal nikah. Be zoicha to become great people, to have good relationships, and be'ez Hashem to have a successful marriage. Rabbi said, if you work on Middos HaSavlonis, this is the place to work on it. We always say that the years in yeshiva are the time to work on it. And we once said over, I think when it was many years of Brevda. So he said, I got to get out of the room. So he said, no. Obviously the situation wasn't impossible, but whatever it is, he says, when are you going to learn how to deal with other people? You don't like it so much for cat, so that's going to be a training for marriage. Things that you don't like so much that that people are doing, that will be a training, how to be civil, how to handle it, how to put up with it, have patience with it, not to fly off the handle. Anybody, somebody does something, how to learn to respect that person for who he is, respect the people, and the Be'ez Hashem, it will carry over to a successful marriage, and you'll live happily ever after.